Alright, good morning YouTubers. Today we're going to discuss about how bodybuilders look like before they touched weights. So I made this video because I made a promise to one of the Quora readers that I would answer his question in a video. I hope you like it and I hope you will learn something. So first of all, I looked up some photos of some bodybuilders before and after. It was a hard stuff to do because most of the things that you'd find would be bodybuilders before they competed. And as we all know, these bodybuilders aren't really the ones who never touched weights. As you can see in one example, people would usually cite Phil Heath before he even touched weights, but that's not really the case, since this picture of Phil Heath was taken when he was competing as a basketball player, and we all know that the university basketball player in colleges and universities, they would have pretty good training programs, so most likely include lifting weights. And just to mention, these bodybuilders, famous bodybuilders, found bodybuilding because they were lifting for their sport or they got injured, and they found out that they could build some pretty good muscle size even if they're bulking up. But one of the good photos that I found was with Jay Cutler. So as you can see, Jay Cutler was a kid. Here he has pretty good genetics. His frame will be pretty massive for someone who obviously doesn't lift weights. But as you can see, it's really nothing special. He was really thin. If he wore some clothes, you wouldn't even notice that he had good genetics. So that's pretty much it. Even if you have good genetics, you would still not look that great if you weren't lifting weights or being scientific with your training program. So how would you determine if you're genetic? For this, I would like to recommend the videos of Bony to Beastly. He's a pretty good YouTuber. Yeah, I could relate to him because I consider myself to be a hard gainer, since I'm naturally very thin and I don't really gain that much weight. All right, and most of all, I have this chest like I was punched by a superhero. It's like someone excavated my chest, which scientists would call this pectus excavatum. Pectus excavatum. So I also show you some of my pictures when I wasn't training. So I'm just like you guys. I'm really nothing special. So first of all, let's take a look at some of the methods that Bony to Beastly recommended. So he did a pretty good point about explaining the bone breadth, which you would take a measurement of of how wide naturally your shoulders are divided by how wide your hips are. With mine, I got 16 inches for my shoulders and 11 inches for my hips. So that will be I got a pretty good measurement there. If you got more than 1.3, you're doing great. I got around 1.4 or something, which is pretty much a little bit above average, I guess. And I also have some. He also explained the bone thickness. So with that, I got more than 1 there. So if you got more than 1 or more than 0.9, your bones are pretty thick. So you're good. You're above average. And you can also use your muscle bellies. You can pretty much measure how many fingers you could fit in between your arms in 90 degrees, and the bicep, basically the tendon. So with mine, I could only fit one finger or two fingers if I really try hard. So if that's the case for you, then you have a pretty good insertion. It means your muscle belly would be bigger. Even when you train, it's going to be a lot fuller. But in any case, if you can fit like 3 fingers in there, that means you're going to get a good peak with your bicep. But that means that it's not going to get bigger than that, of course, because the rest of that will be just tendon and not muscle. But that'll be pretty good. That'll be pretty good both ways. Actually, I really love these people who have pretty short biceps. It peaks like crazy, man. You just take a look at some people; they would really peak it. Well, mine just looks better if I don't flex it. Literally, guys, it really is a good thing. So don't be discouraged about that. Alright, so now going back, I'll also show you some of my photos when I was in training. So I'm just like you, I'm not perfect. I have a job, like a day job, but usually night shift, so makes it worse. And I have 3 kids, and I pay the bills and stuff, so life sometimes gets pretty busy. And most of these photos were taken when I was in training for more than a year. So as you can see, I have pretty good genetics, as it turns out. But if I'm not training, it still sucks. Still very skinny. So it's just like that. Even if you have good or crappy genetics, it's gonna be the same if you're not training. So I would recommend that you also watch our video about muscle genetically freaked guys and somatotypes. Do they exist? There, I talked about some of the factors that would constitute a genetically gifted individual. So that's it. I hope you learned something from this video. So if you have crappy genetics, I would recommend that you look at Frank Zane and Ziz and Brad Pitt, because these guys are pretty ectomorphs, and but they have badass bodies, right? Especially Frank Zane, who won 3 Mr. Olympias in a row. Mike Menzer was pretty genetic. It's a freak, but he never won an Olympia, but because he quit competing. But that's a story for another day. But the point is, if you have crappy genetics, fuck it. Just train hard, lift some weights, do your passion. Your passion is lifting weights and bodybuilding. Live the life. Even if you're not competing, do your best, alright? So don't be discouraged by some bro scientists who would tell you that you're not genetic, you suck. No, there's a lot of people, even bodybuilders, even professional bodybuilders, who have crappy genetics. Just look at those guys who they call X-framed. But they were called X-framed because most of them would have pretty bad V-taper. So, but they have good leg development. So it's like an X when they flex, especially in the side lats. In front laterals. So if you like to lift weights, just lift some weights and train hard. I hope you like this video. Leave a thumbs up so it would reach more people and help more people, and share it, please. Please subscribe if you like my videos, if they were helpful. And please hit that notification button, that bell thing right there, so that you would get some updates of our next videos. For the next videos, I'm thinking about discussing hyperplasia, or whey protein, how to take it, or creatine. You can leave a comment in the comment section down below. What do you think? Are you a genetically gifted individual? What do you think you can do for your body to improve, even if you have crappy genetics? If you have it, see you again, guys. A lifters, have a great day. God bless you.